So I've been meaning to make this post for a minute, right? And today I got my confirmation. I have been nudged to share a dream I had, too, actually. So I was in a connection with a person, right? And it was getting rough there in the end. And Divine kept giving me certain nudges, right? But I was loyal and thought I was supposed to stick with it for once, you know? Well, right before it ended, I was laying next to that person and I had a dream. I shared the dream with them, but you know, some things just go over people's heads, right? To try to make it short, in the dream, I was in the truck with that person. Yes, they are a truck driver too. In the passenger seat, and we were going down these windy roads. It was dark at night. There were street lights, so I could see where we were going, but it was like windy and up and down and up and down, and they were going faster and faster and faster, like they just kept hitting the gas. And I looked at the dash, and confirmation. They were going like 100 miles an hour in an 18-wheeler truck, right? Crazy, right? And the faster they went, the scareder I became. And I started saying, slow down, calm down, slow down. Why are you going so fast? Like, stop, stop. And I looked over at them, and they had their head back, cackling loud, like laughing hysterically, and hitting the gas harder, like just trying to go faster and faster and faster. And they had this ugly look on their face, like almost demonic look, right? And the more I screamed stop, the louder they laughed, right? And so I just closed my eyes, and all of a sudden, I felt at peace. I was still moving, but when I opened my eyes, I was surrounded by like a herd of deer. Confirmation again. And when I say a herd, I mean it was like 20, 30 deer I was surrounded by. And they were running full speed next to the truck. But instead of being in the truck, it was like an outer body experience. I was outside of the truck, next to the truck where it's still moving, but I'm in the center of the deer. And I could feel like their muscles and the wind on my face and in my hair as they ran. And I was just in the middle, sitting in the middle of them. And they were so close to me, I could feel their warmth and the muscles as they ran. And, you know, naturally, if something is moving next to you, you're going to bump around, you know, it's going to be chaotic. But I was at such peace. I was calm. I felt safe in the middle of those deer as they ran along the side of the truck. And I looked over, and he still got his head back, laughing hysterically, like he didn't even know I was gone, right? And I laid back and closed my eyes, and then I woke up. So that was the first one. Okay, and so I'll try to post what it means for deer to show up in your dreams at some point. So give you guys some context. But the second dream. So this was after we had split up, right? And the very next day I went to sleep and had another dream about a deer. In this particular dream, I appeared in like this pasture area. It's a large area, but it was surrounded by a chain link fence, and it was about maybe 6, 8, 10 feet tall. And it was dark again, and I could see nothing inside the enclosure except for where I stood. There was a dim kind of street-like thing right over the corner where I stood, and that was all that was visible, really. But I heard I'm looking at the corner of the fence and up at this light and around, like trying to find a door. And then I hear rustling behind me. Oh, and my dog was with me. He was on the ground, like sniffing around. I guess he's trying to figure out how to get out of here too. Like, we're locked in here, imprisoned in this pasture, right? So I hear the rustling, and I turn around real fast, and I see something coming out of the darkness really slowly, like creeping, right? And as it came into the light, I realized it was a deer, a whitetail, like the others. And I said, oh my goodness. And it spooked and jumped on the fence and tried to climb up the fence. But it got stuck, and then it just froze and looked at me. And I could see the horror in its eyes, like the fear in its eyes. It was afraid of me. And I said, oh my God, no, don't be scared. It's okay, I'm not gonna hurt you. And then they looked down at Harry. And I said, he's not gonna hurt you either. It's okay, it's okay. And we just stood there looking at each other for what seemed like 10 minutes, but I'm sure it wasn't that long. And then slowly it climbed down off the fence and slowly walked over to me, but I could still see the fear in its eyes. It was very reluctant and very hesitant of me. And I put my hand out and I said, it's okay. I'm not going to hurt you. It's okay. And as it got closer to me, the fear began to subside. And then it got like right here up on me, and then it stared at me like it was trying to see through me. And I stared at it, you know, trying to understand what was happening here. And then it put its head down and let me touch it. And I stroked its head and I said, it's okay. I'm going to find a way to get us out of here. And then I woke up. That may mean nothing to most of you, but those who get it will get it, right? Deers are a manifestation of the divine, of spirit. And in my dreams, I know that they were protectors. The second one probably was afraid of me because the way I've been avoiding and not listening to my divine nudges probably has something to do with that. And it was afraid that I was going to hurt it, let it go, not give it the attention that it's desiring. Maybe, I don't know. But divine nudged me to share that with you. Maybe it helps somebody. But the funny thing is, the video that I'm about to add to here is this is real life now. I'm here in the 3D, and I'm actually in Edison, New Jersey, getting loaded. And I'm walking Harry, just minding our own business. And that's my favorite number, by the way, and my favorite angel number, 444. 4 deer literally run feet in front of us. And I stop, and of course Harry, rah, and so they get spooked. And so they run into the trees. And before I can get my phone out to record, they're already in the trees. But the last one stopped and looked at me, and we stared at each other for a minute. And I said, hey, it's okay. You don't have to be afraid. He's not gonna hurt you either. Don't worry about him. It's okay. You'll see in the video, right? And he waved his little white tail at me, and then trotted off with his little white tail wagging like, okay, she's not a threat, It was really cool. And it was confirmation that it's time for me to share. So, again, I hope it helps. Bye. Well, go figure. The video ended up being like a 5-second video, and the deer didn't show. When you try to help others, Steven is who I call him. Satan don't even get a name when it comes to me. Steven always plays games, okay? And I'm sure he's the reason why the video didn't even show up. Or it could be my storage. I don't know, but I know he's playing. So, anyway, you don't get to see the video, which sucks because it was an awesome experience. But, yeah, I'll put the Google description here. Peace.